New year, new updated rules for football because that is what we do. And I don't mind updated rules. I just want updated rules to make sense. And as I go through this list, you will see some of the rules that annoy me, why they annoy me, and I'll just leave them where they're at. Without further ado, I'm going to talk about the rule changes that are happening in college football and some rule changes that are happening in the NFL. I'm only going to talk about the things that I think are going to impact the 2026 playing season because yes, there have been some transfer portal changes and yes, there's been some eligibility changes for college football. I don't really think that that's going to impact the season much, so I'm not going to mention those. Having said that, though, I do think the 5-5, if it stands, is going to be interesting because that should do away with red shirts because you shouldn't need a red shirt anymore. You now have full 5 years of eligibility. So if that happens and the red shirts go away, I don't know what that really means for football. Maybe that means we're going to be able to see a lot more talent in college football more often. Maybe even the players that aren't ready will get to see them because they will get to work through not being ready. I don't really know how that's going to show up in college football, but it's definitely a rule change that might matter. So I wanted to mention it here. The other rule change is going to be offensive pass interference now is going to be a 10-yard penalty in college football instead of a 15-yard penalty in college football. I don't really see a lot of pass interference happening on the offensive side of the ball in the NFL or college, but the rule changed. So, hey, I figured if the rule changes, might as well mention it. And then we all know the rule change that probably annoys me the most is going to be the whole targeting thing. Now, yes, they did make it better by saying, okay, if you get targeting on your first offense, you will only get thrown out of the game. Nothing else will happen to you. You'll be eligible to play in the next week. The reason why I don't like the new rule, though, is because now the targeting penalties follow you. So let's say you do one in 1 week and you have the suspension, you leave a game. Then you do another in another week. That's going to be your second of the season. And so they're going to continue to follow you throughout the season. I don't particularly love that, but that is just what they've decided to do. So now there's the first offense, second offense. It just gets progressively worse as the offenses go on. But hey, they did fix the first initial thing, so I guess that is okay. The other thing I found in the fine print is you are actually eligible to challenge the targeting rule call. So I don't know what that's going to mean. I don't know who's in charge of determining if it's going to stay targeting or not going to stay targeting. I did find it interesting, though, that you could challenge the call. So if you can challenge the call, I'm fascinated to see how that is going to work. However, it's a rule change, so I need to talk about it here. I hope you're enjoying your video. Don't forget to hit that like button, double check and make sure that you're subscribed to my channel. If you think about it, leave me a comment in the comment section below as well. And did I say turn on those notification bells? If I didn't, make sure you turn on those notification bells. Like the video, make sure you're subscribed, turn the notification bells, leave me a comment section in the comment section below. I'll let you get back to your video. They're still cracking down on the fake injuries. I have, whatever. I already made a video about the fake injury thing, so I'll let it go. So they're still doing that crackdown. And then the other thing I think is another thing that's going to be interesting, because to me, it's going to be one of those calls that when it happens, we'll just see how it goes, is this fake simulating the snap counts. The defensive line and the defense really making the offensive lineman jump in college football. They have added more to that rule. They're making more of an emphasis on that rule. All that tells me is probably coaches are complaining that that's happening more than we think it is. I don't know if that rule is actually a real change or if they're just going to make more of an effort to call it this year because they mentioned it, because it's on the website, because they're talking about it. I wanted to bring it to the attention of more people because, again, something to pay attention to. It might not matter. It might just be business as usual. But if we notice there's an uptick in the simulation of the defense trying to simulate the offense, and they call that more often than we've seen it in the past, I wanted to make sure that I mention it here because, again, some of these rules don't mean anything until they mean something. So I wanted to mention it here so that we can stay on guard and aware of what is happening in college football. The other real big one is overtime timeouts in college football. So now you only get one timeout per period. Usually when your team was on offense, you got a timeout, and when your team was on defense, you got a timeout. I believe that's how it worked previously. Now it is just one timeout. So when you're on offense and then you're on defense, you can only use one timeout. That should be helpful, you would think. I don't really understand why that rule was made. I don't know if people complained and they're like, "Hey, we need this new rule." It seems a little weird to me, but it is what it is, so I just wanted to call it out here. And then the other thing is too with the college football playoffs, the way that they have that structured is the 4 teams that win their conferences from the Power 4 schools are going to be ranked 1 through 4. So if what happened last year happens this year, so let's say Duke happens to win the ACC, they are automatically going to be in the playoffs. To me, that is a really big change because if a team that is not supposed to, air quotes, wins their conference and they get an automatic bid into the college football playoffs, that is going to knock things off way off course. Again, don't love it, but if the alternative is putting in a G5 team, I don't love that either. I just feel like they need to do this differently. I don't even know why a G5 team has to be in there. That is ridiculous to begin with. If you're going to give a G5 a spot, make it 16 teams, period. And then for the NFL rule, the onside kick rule, now you can just do an onside kick whatever you want to. They changed it last year to where I think it was only like inside 2 minutes. Now you can do it whenever you want to. I don't even know why they changed that. Sometimes I feel like they toy with the things that we don't want them to toy with, but whatever. They just do whatever they want to do anyway. So, okay, whatever. And then the other rule is officiating is going to help more on the obvious calls. Now, I have my own thoughts about NFL officiating. I believe that I want to say that they do their best, but the truth is they do what they're told to do in their ear. So until football finds a way to just stay consistent, whatever. I don't really care about these extra official things. I don't really care about the extra this, extra that, because I think that they're quite frankly full of crap. So to me, you're already talking to the officials in the ear. We can all see it at home. Just make the call. Just fix it. Just change it. All of this going around it and doing all these different things, you're already talking to them in their ear. If you see something that's wrong, change it. If you see a holding call that shouldn't be a holding, tell the official that it wasn't holding. I don't understand why they don't make the game better. It's almost like they're making the game worse by not doing what they should be doing, but it's an official change in the rules. So I just wanted to say that they're going to make the obvious calls and do all the obvious stuff. They said the same thing last year and they didn't, but whatever. The last thing I want to say here, because it's actually pretty annoying and frustrating after I've been watching the World Cup, is why is there not a chip in the football like there is for, there's a B. The other thing I find really annoying about the NFL, and it didn't happen until I started watching the World Cup, and maybe we should do this in college football as well. Why is there not a chip in the football? How come in the NFL, the amount of money they make, why are there not chips in those footballs where we can get the spots correct? How come soccer has it all figured out? How come the World Cup has it all figured out and the NFL can't figure out spotting? Spotting in the NFL is the most underrated, annoying thing that I think I experience in the NFL when it comes to officiating, besides them being extremely inconsistent. Spotting of the football in the NFL is so frustrating because they do it all wrong. It's just a mess. And then in college football, it's a targeting penalty. Anyways, you're not here to listen to me complain about all of these different things. I just wanted to tell you some of the rules that I believe will be the most impactful as the season goes on for college football and for the NFL. The other thing that I did not mention here that I know is a new rule is a transfer portal window for college football. The transfer portal thing is a whole different debacle. They can fix this so easily if they impact and fix the college football schedule. But hey, this year we're playing the national championship game at the end of January. So it just seems like they're trying to make these seasons as long as possible. The rules that need to be changed and looked at, I will leave that for a conversation on another day. Anyways, let me know what you think about these rule changes. Let me know if there's a rule change that you think is going to be impactful that I forgot about. And as always, I will see you in my next video.